The US midterm elections are here, and while the presidency isn't up for grabs, control of the US Congress is, and highly important state and local elections are in play too. Donald Trump is no longer in power, but he remains the de facto leader of the Republican Party and is favored to run again in 2024.
This is the year we're going to take back the House, we're going to take back the Senate, we're going to take back America. And in 2024, most importantly, we are going to take back our beautiful, magnificent White House.
The former president has made more than 200 endorsements for midterm primaries, often trying to oust Republicans who opposed him and replace them with 2020 election deniers. But how powerful is Mr. Trump's endorsement? The National took a look at 12 of his most prominent picks before the November 8th elections, which will determine the next 2 years of American government. Of the 12 Trump endorsements we examined, 8 of them won their primaries and will go on to the general election. Perhaps the biggest win for Mr. Trump was unseating Liz Cheney from her congressional district in Wyoming. The former high-ranking House Republican voted to impeach the former president after the Capitol insurrection on January 6, 2021. Mr. Trump instead supported lawyer Harriet Hageman, who easily won with a large share of the vote. Ms. Cheney, now a fierce critic of the former president, has vowed to continue campaigning against him.
This primary election is over, but now the real work begins.
Mr. Trump successfully endorsed celebrity Dr. Mehmet Oz for one of Pennsylvania's Senate seats. He narrowly beat former hedge fund executive David McCormick in the primary by a margin of 951 votes. Dr. Oz will now face Democratic Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman in what is expected to be one of the tightest races of the midterms. Other winning candidates backed by Mr. Trump include former US Special Forces officer Joe Kent, who's running for Washington State's newly drawn 3rd Congressional District; John Gibbs, a former housing official under Mr. Trump with a history of inflammatory tweets, won his primary for Michigan's 3rd Congressional District; retired American football star Herschel Walker, who has never held office, will face off against Senate Democrat Raphael Warnock in Georgia. Trump-backed author J.D. Vance is the favorite to win Ohio's Senate seat after coming out on top in his primary. And Russell Fry, a South Carolina state representative, is likely to be heading to the US Congress after easily defeating the incumbent for the state's 7th Congressional District, who, like Liz Cheney, voted to impeach Mr. Trump after January 6th. It wasn't all plain sailing for Mr. Trump. Of the 12 races we looked at, the former president's candidates lost in 3. Trump-backed Lauren Culp failed to beat Dan Newhouse in the Republican primary for Washington State's 4th Congressional District. Mr. Newhouse joined the small number of House Republicans who voted to impeach the former president.
The president took an oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Last week there was a domestic threat at the door of the Capitol, and he did nothing to stop it. That is why, with a heavy heart and clear resolve, I will vote yes on these articles of impeachment.
David Perdue didn't come close to upsetting Georgia's Governor Brian Kemp, who angered Mr. Trump by dismissing his debunked claims of electoral fraud in the 2020 presidential election. And Katie Arrington, who won Mr. Trump's endorsement after incumbent Nancy Mace publicly criticized him over January 6th, was defeated in the race for South Carolina's 1st Congressional District. Ms. Mace had not voted to impeach Mr. Trump. Finally, due to election rules in Alaska, the final race the National was tracking is still undecided. Trump-backed Kelly Tshibaka is hoping to unseat Republican Lisa Murkowski for one of the state's Senate seats, though the incumbent may get a boost from the state's ranked choice voting in November. With 8 wins in the races we examined, it's clear Mr. Trump's endorsement packs a punch. What's also notable is that of the 10 Republicans who voted to impeach Donald Trump in 2021, only 2 won their primaries, with 4 losing and the rest not seeking re-election. There's no doubt the Republican Party has been reshaped in the former president's image. All eyes now are on the November midterms, when Republican primary winners will face off against the Democrats.